And welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Danny Cannell. That's Barton Simmons. That's Tom Fornelli. I'm Chip Patterson. Championship week. We are going to take the review and we're going to set it aside. And we're not setting it aside because I went 2-6 and because I am just bleeding here at the end of the finish line, because just like I won the bowl season last year, that we're going to make it all back on bowl season. And we've got some championship games that we need to get to. So I just kind of, let's see who ended up winning so we can make sure we get the honors on the T-box right. I kind of want to just, Danny. All right. Danny, best pick, best lock, championship week. What are you feeling good about? Where do you want to start?
I don't feel the best is necessarily out there. There's a lot of games that I like. I don't know if I love one in particular. So I was going to tackle the Conference USA Championship game. Not exactly one of the highest profile games of the weekend, but you've got UAB versus Marshall. Marshall, of course, coming off that rough loss to Rice. I'm going to attack the total on this one, and I'm going to see if I can get one Tom Fornelli to join me on this one. The total is a whopping 42 points. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. I'm going to take the under on this one, even though it is so low. You've got the two top defenses in Conference USA in yards allowed. Marshall allows 253. UAB allows 316. So you got two incredible defenses. You have offenses that are going to want to establish the run. Plus, you've got Marshall's Grant Wells coming off a game in which he threw not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 interceptions. You have to feel like they're going to try to take a little bit of the pressure off them, try to run the ball even more. So I'm going to say this is under City.
I'm not going to join you, but I am going to get you a point because I can find 43.
Oh, even better. All right, perfect. Love it.
All right, Barton.
Okay. Where do I want to start? All right, so let's go to let's quit the chit chat and just get straight to the point here. ACC championship game. Okay. Clemson is playing Notre Dame. I watched the previous Clemson-Notre Dame game, as did you boys, and I would like to make the bold statement that Notre Dame was the better that game. Felt like they were. You know what? Like that on that night, that game, Notre Dame was the better team. They didn't luck into it. It wasn't fluky. They just won. I know Trevor Lawrence was out, and I know that certainly probably impacted the game plan of Notre Dame. DJ Uiagalelei did throw for 490 yards, whatever it was. So it wasn't like their offense wasn't still effective or wasn't still capable. The defense had a few guys out, and I know a few guys will be back this time. That said, I think it's a slap in the face for 10.5 points to be the spread here. It is, and not only is it a slap in the face, but it's bulletin board material. And Brian Kelly is all about getting his troops psyched up this year. He is all about the psychological edge. He's been reading the Nick Saban books and the Urban Meyer stuff. Like, he knows it's all about motivation. So I just think Notre Dame comes in there with a chip on their shoulder. They're too good of a team to be catching 10.5 points. They may flat out win this sucker. So give me the Irish.
6.5, 7.5. These are appropriate lines for a Clemson Notre Dame game with the way that Clemson, yes, has upgraded defensively. Tyler Davis is there. He was not there in South Bend. James Skalski is there. He was not there in South Bend. Mike Jones Jr., a key outside linebacker who needed to be there. He told a great story. He said he watched the game from home. He wasn't able to play, and he kept just losing his mind because they were blowing contain. Ian Book was getting to the outside, and that's going to be his goal. He's going to make sure Ian Book doesn't make those kind of plays that he did. But, and I've got another play on this game too. It's a 2-for-1 special. I think that this is going to be another situation where Clemson cannot score in the red zone. Clemson kicked 4 field goals in that game. They moved the ball well against Notre Dame, but they couldn't get in the end zone. Notre Dame also kicked a couple field goals in this game. My other play on this game is to go under the total. We've trotted out big game Dabo before, and he'll do anything to just win by 1 point. He's down to kick some field goals. He is very down to play field position. And so double-digit dog. I think the game is going to go under the total. And I think that Notre Dame, like we talk about best and most deserving with the college football playoff, debates, Notre Dame is the most deserving. They're not the best team in the country, but they are the most deserving team in the country. And I just don't see this being a 14-point game. So at 10 with a hook, give me the Fighting Irish. I will also take the under. Is 61 available?
No, 60.5.
On 60.5. That's what we're taking.
Dan, are you on anything here?
I am. What was our record last week, Chip? We were in a lock agreement a couple times last week, but I am exactly the same page as the ACC boy on the crew here. I totally agree. I'm going to take Notre Dame the 10.5, and I think the kind of big game under, principle comes out here. Even going back to Deshaun Watson was quarterback at Clemson, and you see this with Trevor Lawrence. You see more quarterback run game in the bigger games, and by design a lot of times. And I also think that Notre Dame's defense has gotten better this season. We know Clemson's defense will be better, getting some of those guys healthy again. I think way too many people are making the assumption, this was 47-40 last time. We're going to see a repeat of that. Very rarely do we see that unfold. So I'm going to take the under here as well.
So wait, are you also on Notre Dame and
yes.
the under?
Yep. I'm on both. DK 2-for-1 special.
And here comes Tom trying to fight unity.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
To infinity and beyond.
Oh, yes.
To infinity and beyond. Infinity.
Yeah, this is a disrespectful line to Notre Dame. Like, the line in the first game in South Bend was 5.5. There was no Trevor Lawrence. There was none of the other players that you mentioned in that game, Chip. But like, when you watch that game, it wasn't Trevor Lawrence's absence that really seemed to doom Clemson. It was the fact that, like Barton said, Notre Dame was the better team in that game. They were better in the trenches. They were better at a lot of key spots. Now, I think that with some of those returning players for Clemson, the advantage is not going to be as great as it was that night at home. But I look at these two teams and I think that they're far more evenly matched than this spread suggests. I think the line should still be at about 5.5, 6 points like it was in that first game. And I think that this line is overcorrecting, or at least trying to anticipate the public response to, Trevor Lawrence is back for this one. And like, you hear like the promos that ESPN's running, there's the soundbite of Kirk Herbstreit saying, well, they got to play the real Clemson this time. It's like, they played the real Clemson the first time and they beat them. So yeah, I'm good. I don't know if they're going to win again. I think Clemson probably wins, because I do think that Trevor Lawrence and the returning players are significant enough to give them the edge in what should be a close, hard-fought game. But they're not winning by 10.5 or more. Give me the Irish and the points.
Can you imagine being a player and hearing that, they're going to play the real Clemson this time, to Barton's point about bulletin board material? Oh, my goodness, I'd be irritated.
And Notre Dame can win. I need to put it out there. I think Clemson wins, but Notre Dame can win this football game.
Notre Dame has had like a month to hear that narrative of they didn't play their real players. Like,
starting the night after the night of the game, like when they beat them.
It's like, Notre Dame made mistakes in that game too, right? And it's still won.
And to your point about the market, Tom, I think you're 100% right, because have y'all ever done the Sagarin number, guess the line activity? Because sometimes that it does seem to be pretty close to the power ratings that Las Vegas will have. If you were to take the Sagarin ratings and make the line, it would be 5.5. Like, that's probably an appropriate line. 10.5, inappropriate line. Absolutely repulsive.
Rude.
All right, Tom, take us where you want to go.
All right, I'm going to go to Friday night, and I'm going to go, Barton, cover your ears. I'm going against your Bulls, and I'm going against a coach that, might be the next coach at the University of Illinois for all I know. But Buffalo is running roughshod over the MAC all season long. It has crushed everything in its way. It has an offense that nationally ranks third in the country in points per drive. It's just the problem is, as good as Buffalo is, and I think it is a legitimately good MAC team, its schedule has been awful. Like, it's really kind of run up the numbers that it's had against teams like Bowling Green, Akron, and Kent State. And while Kent State is a good MAC team, it's also, like Bowling Green and Akron, one of the absolute worst defenses in the country. And with such a small sample size of games in the MAC, I went and checked. It's like, okay, well, I want to make sure that these three teams aren't just doing horrible overall because of what Buffalo did to them. Because, like Buffalo put up 70 on freaking Kent State, although they did give up 41. And it's like, no, they're just as awful against everybody else that they've played. In fact, the only game Akron's defense played well was against Bowling Green. Not a coincidence. So I look at this matchup against a Ball State team that is, it's not a great team, but it's better than most of it. It's better than any team, quite frankly, that Buffalo has faced at this point of the year. The record of teams Buffalo has played are combined 6-18. They're not good. Ball State is a well-rounded team. It has a good offense. It has a good quarterback. And I look at the spread, and I think that the number on this game is more reflective of who Buffalo has played than who Buffalo will be playing in this game. So I think, I'm getting it at 13.5. I think that's a little too much. I think Buffalo should be about a 10-point favorite here. So I'm getting a good field goal worth of value. So give me the Cardinals plus 13.5.
No, I had it on my, and even like not even the margin, but the actual card, and just let's be real. Like, I've had a busy week, so this is a little bit of an impulsive.
What have you been doing?
Slate, and so a little bit of a gut deal. And as Tom was talking, I did my first actual research on the game, and I'm not ready to lay 13.5 even for my Bulls. So you can have it.
I know it's not a principle for me, and I don't think it is for any of y'all, but you do have to consider the coach who's been spending some time getting his resume together, right? I mean, it's at least like an hour or two that is being spent on a new activity that would not otherwise be going on during the week,
But he's had legit, like he was.
No, not that I know of.
Leipold was, I think, the runner-up for Vanderbilt. And so
Zoom calls run long,
sometimes those take long. Saying. And now he's in these Illinois calls,
But I always wonder, like, with these situations, they've got a championship game coming up. Is at this point, like, if you're Lance Leipold and you're just kind of like a football life or football guy that he is, isn't your agent doing most of that work for you right now? And then you're like just taking care of your job. And then if you're going to interview, you can wait until after Friday.
Potentially, but
you got to interview when you got to interview. But the agent's doing the, all the legwork. But I think you still got to get those interviews in when you want to
see your potential future boss as much or speak to them and ask questions that you need answered. But to your point, Buffalo's got a fantastic program. The program should still be able to run at a championship level. I would only take it into consideration with a big spread where it's like, well, yeah, I mean, they're still going to win the championship, but he isn't worried about winning by 14 points. But anyway, and I wouldn't take it into consideration. Not a lock for me. I'm going to take us to Friday night as well. We've got USC and Oregon. USC, a narrow favorite. We've mentioned some of the difficulties that USC has. They got a short week. They had to prepare for two opponents. And as the Ducks are here, we've got a Colorado equipment truck that is like at exit 458 in the middle of nowhere at a truck stop, ready to go if they need to be called into action at the last minute. The side I'm going to tackle here is going to be backing an Oregon defense that we first started highlighting when we were doing our hurry up hot seat. It was something I was really excited about. And I think Oregon's defense is going to be up to the challenge of creating some problems for USC, because when USC can't run the ball consistently, and it hasn't shown that it can do that, there's going to be some short possessions. Then the ball is going to go back to Oregon, and then Oregon's going to try to keep the ball out of Keaton Slovis's hands. I think all of it shapes up for what will be sweaty, given all of the skill position talent, but I think it shapes up for an under. So I will be locking up USC Oregon under 64.
Yep.
Cool.
You know, I feel a little beaten and battered from my over Army skirmishes throughout the year. And in looking on this slate, I got to be honest with you. I don't know whether it's just sort of the fog of war kind of getting to me, but I didn't see a lot of overs on there. But I don't like your reasoning there, Chip. I don't think Oregon's defense is very good. And frankly, I think Oregon might be the play for me, but because you sort of brought it up,
Gonna go over
and offered me this opportunity, I'm going to go over. This is the last week of the season. Give me over whatever the number is.
Fight.
Not that I want to help the over Army, but I can get the over Army 63.5.
I will take it.
All right, Danny.
All right, I wanted to get on the under too, but I'm going to let that one go just because I wanted to have one last fight. I'm going to go to the Big Ten championship game. All right, because I want to get this one. I saw it before earlier today. I don't know if it was a misprint or what, but I saw Ohio State at 19. I was like, oh my goodness. But then quickly, I think some people saw it there too. And it's been driven up to 20.5. I'm going to go ahead and lay those points. I think this might be the easiest play of the weekend. Ohio State needs to impress. The last time we were in this position, remember they were playing Wisconsin, won 59-0. They're fourth in the country in scoring offense. Northwestern is second in the country in scoring defense. But if you go look at the offenses that Northwestern shut down, it is nothing compared to what Ohio State has seen. There have been the past 4 20-point favorites in Power 5 conference title games, all have covered. Last year, Clemson was a 29.5-point favorite versus Virginia, covered. Florida State was a 29-point favorite versus Duke, covered. Clemson, 28 over Pitt in 2018, covered. 2016, Bama was a 24-point favorite over Florida, covered. I think this is going to follow that trend. It's going to be a DK 2-for-1 special too, because I am going to get on the over. Same reason I liked Ohio State, Michigan State for the over in that one. All 5 of Ohio State's games this season, there have been at least 63 or more points in those games. Their games, the over has gone over in each of their last 3. So I'm going to take the over as well in the Big Ten championship game. Was it 57?
I can get you 56.5.
Even better. Easy money. This is stealing.
Why don't we go? What else on that game? I'm not.
I am not touching this game.
Let's go. Since Danny's on a shot clock here, let's go snake draft back to back with Danny. So you line it up again.
All right, I'll hit. I'm going to go Big 12 championship game. We've covered Matt Campbell's record as an underdog. He's 21-8 against the spread. That's 72% as an underdog at since 2016. I think it's. I wouldn't even hate. I feel like if you get Oklahoma's best, I think they win and they could win big. But I feel like, and maybe this is a recency bias, I feel like we haven't seen Oklahoma's best as of late. Iowa State seems to be peaking at the right time. So I think this is too big of points. I think this will come down to the wire, maybe a field goal type game, similar to the Texas Iowa State game. But Matt Campbell, too good as a dog here. I'm going to take Iowa State catching 5.5, and it's a Big 12 game, baby. I'm going over the 58.5. There we go. Give me that over.
I can get you 6 with Iowa State.
Oh, even better. Look at that. I'm getting horrible numbers and still liking them.
Anyone else on this one?
Look at you guys. Don't be scared. Look at how come I'm the one who should be dialing it back, like milking my lead that I have. But I'm not that baseball player who pulls myself out of the game so he can keep batting 400. I want to keep swinging away.
Hey, you're talking a big game, Danny. How about a fight, buddy?
Oh, here we go.
Fight.
I happen to believe in this Oklahoma team. I happen to believe in this team's best effort being really good. I don't necessarily think that they've been playing the best offenses over the course of their strong defensive run, but they're getting the right sort of confidence built up for a game like this. And I think they've played well. They've had enough wake-up calls, a little Baylor along the way too, to make sure they know that they're not infallible. And I think going into this game, Iowa State's got to beat Oklahoma twice this year. And I know that we're not asking them to win to cover the spread, but I think in this sort of a spot, like Iowa State winning and Oklahoma blowing Iowa State out are like kind of equally likely. So I got Oklahoma here.
Love it.
Yeah, see, I'm just conflicted on this one because it's like Matt Campbell is a dog and then playing Lincoln Riley twice. So I think I'm just going to sit back and enjoy.
I might have talked myself into I don't know. Well, I've got some themes going right here. We'll keep working on it. All right. What about the SEC championship game, which of course is going to be in prime time on CBS. You can stream it on cbssports.com. You can catch pregame, halftime, postgame on CBS Sports HQ through the CBS Sports mobile app. Another way that you can get that SEC championship game for free. We've got Heisman Trophy stakes. We got college football playoff stakes in addition to the SEC championship. We've got Alabama like 17 and a half, total around 74 and a half. What? Anybody got to play?
I do.
Is it a principle?
No.
Okay.
It's mostly just, I think those are too many daggum points for this game. Honestly, I understand that Alabama is a juggernaut and that it is crushing everybody. And we've talked about it. It's been death machine mode since that Georgia halftime. It's just at the same time, it's only played one offense this year that I think resembles both the potency and the style of what they're going to see this weekend with the Lane Train. It was the Lane Train, and it was the Rebels in that game, and they put up, like 1,000 yards and 48 points against them in that matchup. And I think that this Florida team, like part of the problem that they had last week was with the resting Kyle Pitts, is they just thought they were going to beat LSU. They were preparing for this game. They were taking the bye week that the ACC gave to Clemson and Notre Dame that the SEC refused to give to them, and it caught up to them and they lost. But I think that overall, this is still a very good Florida offense. And I think that a very good Florida offense with Kyle Pitts and a lot of weapons will be able to move the ball and get some points against this Alabama defense. Now, the question, of course, as far as winning the game and the reason they won't win the game is because I have absolutely no faith in the Florida defense to stop Alabama enough to win this game. But I do think that they can get a couple stops, and I think that a couple stops is really all they're going to need to hang within 17 and a half points. And I can get it at, let's see, is there still a 17 and a half out there for me? Let me see.
See, when you said too many daggone points, I thought you were talking about 74 and a half. And you I could still get 17 and a half. So I'm taking Florida plus 17 and a half. Yeah, no, I had thoughts on the total, and maybe you do too, but I'm done with the SEC. Is not the SEC anymore. Let's be real. It's just the Big 12 in disguise with better teams overall. Well, I'm going to stand by it. It's too many daggone points for an SEC championship game. It doesn't make sense. It will probably go over, but as I'm sitting here and just trying to fight for principles, 74 and a half is too big a number for an SEC championship game. Too many daggum points. Give me the under.
Yeah, I support it.
I'm going to
fight.
No.
Okay.
I would like you to play some children for Tom's pick.
Okay.
Thank you, children. I am on plus 17 and what I don't know if Cameron, if you said 17 and a half is there or not, but I agree. This is it's a lot of points. I do think Florida had mailed it in last week and was looking ahead to this Alabama game. And Alabama is, again, this is one of these deals where it's not as if we're asking them to lose this game. They just, can they just show a little bit of vulnerability to the point where they don't win by 20? I mean, I think that's not a crazy ask for a team in Florida that's been, prior to last week, pretty dominant. And I know the defense hadn't been perfect, but it's been a pretty special team throughout the season. So it just seems like I'm not rocking with 17 plus. So give me the Gators.
CBS Sports and Westinghouse are teaming up to give away 10 prizes for the holidays, including a curved gaming monitor and a portable power station. That portable power station, it's going to be perfect for tailgates. We get back next season. We're tailgating for these games. You want to get this portable power station, maybe even the curved gaming monitor. It is all one of the 10 prizes that are being given away by CBS Sports and Westinghouse. You can enter to win some of these prizes. Go to cbssports.com/happy holidays. Once again, cbssports.com/happy holidays to enter. The contest ends December 25th. Remember, cbssports.com/happy holidays. I would have liked Bama had Florida won last week. Like if Florida had cruised to a win.
Yeah.
But definitely not with the sort of like shell shock, cold shower effect that the Gators get right there.
You know who does like Alabama?
Is it Danny?
It's Danny. Danny, he's on,
Fight.
I love it.
Danny just wants to get his butt kicked. That's all.
Hey, in the because this is the final week of the season, right? For the regular season championship, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So Danny has got the lead, and I am in second, and Tom's right behind me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Danny now. This is my second lock fight with Danny. So great opportunity to make up grounds. This is working out perfectly.
Danny.
I can get him to 17 though. He doesn't have to take 17.5. So even though he's not here, I'm going to help him out because I'm that confident.
So there's another. Are we done with this game?
Yes.
Because there is another Danny pick that he's texted in, right? And he texted in Coastal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did I see that correctly? I'm gonna fight Danny on Coastal too.
Fight.
He is setting himself up to lose the crown.
Love it. Okay. Louisiana has lost one game, lost to Coastal. And so Coastal has to beat them again. And this is a good Louisiana team. They beat Iowa State early in the season. I know that's old news, but it's hard to go undefeated. Coastal almost lost last week to Troy. If Coastal wins this game, put them in the playoffs. I'm not even the group of five guy, but put them in the damn playoffs if they can beat Louisiana a second time. I just think that's too much to ask. It's just the law of numbers. Is there such a thing as the law of numbers? Is that even like a theory?
Sure.
A theory?
Sure. Yeah. Law, numbers rule.
Yeah. So let's go. Louisiana, Billy Napier. Let's do it.
I'm not on this game, but I'm on your side.
The 3.5 points is a very favorable line too. Yeah. First game was decided by 3. And if I remember correctly, the total yards were almost identical. Oh yeah. Here we go. Coastal Carolina 30, Louisiana 27. Total yards, Coastal Carolina 414, Louisiana 413. First downs 23-19. Rushing yards 212 to 236. Only one turnover in the game. It was a clean game. It was a competitive game. Louisiana it is a coin flip. And if you're getting a field goal and a hook on top of it, oh my gosh, I'm talking myself into it. Okay. Louisiana plus 3.5. It's a great number. Lock it up.
Oh, I got so much color coding to do on this damn document.
Coming up on the other side, it's not all conference championship games. We've got some action elsewhere as some programs are wrapping up their 2020 regular season. We got some locks for those too. Next. All right. So does the dentist have feelings on LSU-Ole Miss?
Yes. I haven't read it. It's extensive. Let me find it. You want to go ahead and say your pick while I copy edit this and censor it?
Yeah, I don't care that it's Ole Miss. It's too many daggone points, man. We're at the end of the season. 78. Are you kidding me? Like these players want to go home. Like we're tired. Coaching staff spent all week trying to recruit. LSU and Ole Miss had big national signing days. Like we're going to be out there running the same stuff that we did on install on the first week of camp. You know, we're just running the base offense out there now. With these two defenses, I understand that even the base offense might be able to put up 28 to 35 points. But as a matter of principle, on December 17th, at the end of a pandemic year, 78? Give me the under.
So the dentist is on the side here. I'll give you the. I kind of like his reasoning here. He said, "I love this pick. Only problem is the line has moved a lot. Prior to last weekend, I was expecting around a pick for Ole Miss LSU and was ready to unload, but then LSU beat Florida and the line opened to LSU minus 2.5. With all due respect to LSU, I think they caught UF unprepared and looking ahead to Bama. Plus, they got a huge win nobody thought they could get, and now play a very hungry Ole Miss team who's been waiting since Thanksgiving to play a game. This is a terrible spot for LSU, especially since they got the big win last weekend. Early money jumped all over this, and by the time I got my bet in, the line had moved all the way to Ole Miss minus 2. I do expect a lot of points, but I absolutely love Ole Miss here. This is the dentist lock of the year. Ole Miss minus 2. Get it ASAP because I don't like it near as much over 3.
Well, it's at 2.5, so that's what I'm going to give it to him as. But that's fine because the dentist's lock of the year is also my lock of the week.
Ah, look at that.
Yeah.
So you're locking it up, Ole Miss?
Yeah, Ole Miss minus 2.5. It's just the line is wrong. Like he said, it opened with LSU as a favorite, and now it has corrected because everybody in the world looked at it and said, "What the hell is this?" But Ole Miss is the better team. Like, how is LSU's offense going to keep up? We know LSU's defense isn't going to stop them. We saw what Mississippi State did to freaking LSU's defense. What's this offense going to do with it? So yeah, give me the Rebels laying the points. Me and the dentist we're simpatico.
So I didn't have this on the card, but
Over Army mount up?
No, hell no. 78. Oh no. But I do want to play Ole Miss here, but I'm also from etiquette requires me to get this approved because we are in a race now and Tom and I are in a battle and I don't want to jump on you and negate whatever opportunity you have. Okay.
Oh, come on.
I'm going to join the fun then. Give me Ole Miss.
Cool. So an official lock agreement.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we're just trying to run up the score now. Like I understand there is a competition, but we want everyone to be able to have as many wins as possible. And the good listeners are, of course, always who we have in mind after ourselves. So that's a lot of confirmation. All right, Arton or Tom?
I can't believe we've gotten this far into the show without it. Air Force and Army are playing since 2005. When service academies play, the under is 37, 9, and 1. We saw it last week. Army Navy,
Gorgeous
15-point game, and it was really like that touch. There was a safety which was just completely should not have happened. So there's 2 points that came out of nowhere. And then Army's touchdown pretty much was just a short field touchdown after a Navy turnover. Army offense really didn't do anything in that game. And this is an Air Force team that offensively has been able to just run all over some really bad rush defenses. And that includes Navy early in the season before their defense had finally gotten its act together. But when it's played decent opponents, its offense really hasn't been that effective itself. So I know it's 37.5, and I think it's going to be higher scoring than Army Navy was. It's just, I think that this is like a 21-14 game. So we're still under the total. So that's where I'm going.
And Danny's on Army to be able to lock up the Commander-in-Chief trophy, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't hate it. I'm spooked off of Air Force after our inside intel had us thrown off on Air Force out the jump. We thought it was maybe going to be a fade team, and then they came out and we're very, very much a team that you should follow and not fade. All right. I have I'm a little bit worried that this one's another gut one. I'm kind of coming from the gut on this one too, where a lot has been made about Cincinnati, and there's a whole lot going on in terms of big voices in the sport rushing to Cincinnati's side and really puffing their chest up, and there would be one side that would think, you know what, Cincinnati needs to go out and hang a number. They're not going to make the playoff, but it's time to prove that you're the best football team out here. Cincinnati, I don't know if, even though the offense has taken tremendous strides, I do think Tulsa's defense is pretty good. And at 14.5 with a low total, I think that we've got chances to be able to keep this thing inside of 2 touchdowns. I think we've got a chance where, for all of the expectations that are going to be set on Cincinnati and all the viewers that are going to show up expecting Cincinnati to make its big college football playoff top 10 statement, Zaven Collins is awesome. And Tulsa has a lot of defenders who are very much going to be ready to answer the call. This is crazy that, like, Philip Montgomery coming into this year, Tulsa was picked 9th in the conference. They're like, man, where is Tulsa going with Philip Montgomery? And they have had a fantastic season. I think the Golden Hurricane are being a little bit disrespected here. Give me Tulsa plus 14 and a hook.
Respect it, but you're flying solo here.
Okay.
Unless Barton's got something.
In fact, I would be a little bit nervous on that.
You think Cincinnati might run it up?
I think if they, I don't know. I don't think Tulsa's going to be able to score. And so if Cincinnati can find some sort of hidden point somewhere along the way, then that might be a lot for Tulsa to have to overcome. That's my concern.
It's a good point, but got to stick with it. It's out there.
Apparently Ohio State has some serious COVID issues. I'm seeing that in the 24/7 Slack right now.
Cool.
Oh,
There's some buzz.
Is it on the offensive or defensive side?
Potential. I see Olave's name mentioned as a potential guy. Again, this is currently this is like, I think Jeff Snook. Remember that guy who was like doing all like the Urban and Brett McMurphy reporting?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a Jeff Snook report. So take that for what it's worth.
Anybody want to jump in on Northwestern plus 20?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to trust?
Feels like a trap. That feels like a trap.
Anybody feeling good enough about this report that we're catching in the middle of recording this to go and jump on that? No. All right. I think I'm close to out. Have we hit all the major conference championship games?
No. We hit the champs. You got something else?
I got one on the Mountain West.
Ooh, San Jose State, Boise State.
Yeah, give me Boise minus 6.5. This is San Jose State. It's a good team. It's a great story. Brent Brennan's done a fantastic job building that program up. But it's also in a tough situation we've talked about before where it's like, they don't have a home right now. They're not allowed to play at home. So they've had to be traveling for the last month. And I said last week against Nevada that I figured it would catch up to them. It didn't. They won the game. They covered. But this is a Boise State team that its only loss was to BYU. In the Mountain West, it is undefeated, and it is absolutely, crushing everybody except for Wyoming last week, which was a 3-point win. But they've been destroying everybody they've come across. And I still think that this Boise State team is the best team in the country. No, by the way, let's not forget that loss to BYU. Hank Backmeyer was out, and then Jack Sears, their backup quarterback, suffered a concussion on like the second possession of the game. So they were down to their third string quarterback against BYU, which is not a great position to be in. I just think this Boise State team's the best team in the Mountain West, regardless of what the records have shown to this point. And I think that in this game on Saturday night, Boise State's going to beat the Spartans, and it's going to beat them by a touchdown and more.
Fading the traveling caravan bit me, and it's made me a little shy because aren't we playing in the home away from home?
I think they're playing at Sam Boyd Stadium.
Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, where San Jose State has taken up temporary housing for the conclusion of the season. Yeah, great story. But Boise State under a touchdown. Don't hate it. All right. Anything else?
I have one lock left.
Okay.
And Barton.
I got two more.
Oh, okay. You go first. I'll save mine for later because it's going to excite you.
Okay. In fact, I actually have more than that. So here, I'm going to go A&M minus 14. I think Tennessee got feeling good last week against a Vanderbilt team that's just absolutely decimated right now. And I don't think there's any reason to think that they are be able to keep pace with an A&M team that frankly needs to continue to impress people. So I like A&M minus 14. I think Penn State's starting to find itself a little bit at this point in the season. I think that line is 15.5 or something like that. Does that look right?
I can get you 15.
15. I think Penn State it feels like this is a spot where they're finally just going to be able to like let loose a little bit and just pressure's off. We're not terrible anymore, but who cares if they're going to play free, play loose, and they're going to win by a lot. And then let me see the one other one I think I'm going to go with is Missouri.
It's Mississippi State, right?
Yeah. Why are you sucking in like that? You kind of, does that scare you a little bit?
Just caught me off guard. I mean, it was like it had a Surgeon's General warning on it. I don't even think I saw the line. Like I think I was just like scanning down and it was just nothing but X's.
Yeah. I'm going to go Missouri here. I think I just trust them a little more. I mean, look, the thing about Mississippi State is their defense is like no joke. And that's just so they muddle everything up with the way they play good defense. Otherwise, there'd be such a clean, crisp outlook on what this Mississippi State team is. But and then maybe the defense will muddle things up in this game as well. But Missouri basically just has to win. And are they still a top 25 team? They lost last week, right?
Yeah, they're out.
But whatever.
They were never a top 25 team.
They used to be a top 25 team.
They were never a top 25 team.
A one-time top 25 team in Missouri is not going to lose to Mississippi State. So give me Missouri and the Alpha.
That is one. Yeah, I got you 13.5 on A&M. So although I do think you'll probably be fine even if it was 14. All right, my final pick. It is an over. And let's see, what's the best number I can get it at right now? Okay. I'm taking the over 66 in Florida State Wake Forest because I was breaking down this matchup the other day because I was initially looking at it for an under. I was like, oh, it's a little high. But then I look close and it's like, oh, no, that's not high enough because like offensively, Wake Forest is pretty decent on both sides of the ball. But that's not really what I'm looking at here. It's the defenses, which have proven to be awful for both teams. Success rate against the pass. Wake Forest ranks 79th. Florida State ranks 121st. All right. So that might not matter too much in this matchup because, Florida State's a much better team rushing the ball. Like offensively, they're actually 6th in the country right now in rushing success rate. And they're going up against a Wake defense that ranks 105th in success rate against the run. So I think Florida State's going to be running the ball a lot in this matchup, and I think it's going to be running the ball well. But the problem for Florida State is that its run defense ranks 94th in success rate against the run. So I see two offenses that are pretty much just going to be able to do whatever the hell they want to the other team for 60 minutes. And barring a whole bunch of crazy turnovers or missed kicks and weather that I'm not expecting to take over this game, I have a hard time seeing it staying below 66. I feel like the winner's going to be in the 40s and the loser's probably going to be in the high 30s.
I like that. Respect it. Appreciate you.
I don't know, man. The thing that's helping you is the fact that Boogie Basham and a few other Boogie Basham's like just shut it down. Dude could have gone to the NFL after last year. And I think against Louisville was the first game that he was like, all right, I'm good here. And I think we're now pretty deep into the depth chart for Wake Forest. We're starting to see the spring practice start. So good luck. I mean, are you is this getting a screen? Is Wake Florida State going to make it on a top 2 screen, or is it going to be a rotation play?
No, it is not going to be top 2 because it'll be going on at the same time as the Big 10 and the Big 12 title game, but it will be on the 3rd screen because it is a lock.
Wake Forest 4-4, Florida State at 3-6 from Truist Field. You don't show up to the big ATM machine, the artist formerly known as BB&T. Shout out to Bank Mergers, now Truist, and just think you can get a withdrawal without having to put up some points. So age old tale. All right, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Okay.
And we mentioned Danny's other play was Army plus 2.5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
To review, Tom, Notre Dame plus 10.5, Ole Miss minus 2.5, Ball State plus 13.5, Air Force Army under 37.5, Florida plus 17.5, Boise State minus 6.5, Florida State Wake Forest over 66. Barton, Notre Dame plus 10.5, Ole Miss minus 2.5, the over 63.5 in Oregon USC, Oklahoma minus 5.5, Florida plus 17.5, Louisiana plus 3.5, Texas A&M minus 13.5, Penn State minus 15, Missouri minus 1. Chip, Notre Dame plus 10.5, Notre Dame Clemson under 60.5, Oregon USC under 64, Alabama Florida under 74.5, Ole Miss at LSU under 78.5, Louisiana plus 3.5, Tulsa plus 14.5, and Danny, not so disciplined Danny, submitting picks digitally Danny, Notre Dame plus 10.5, under 60.5 in Notre Dame Clemson, UAB Marshall under 43, Iowa State plus 6, Alabama minus 17, Coastal minus 3, the over 57.5 in Iowa State, Oklahoma, Ohio State minus 20.5, Ohio State Northwestern over 56.5, and Army plus 2.5 against Air Force. Money line sprinkle time. Danny's Moneyline Sprinkles are San Jose State, Army, and Notre Dame. Respect to that. My Moneyline Sprinkle, what's the price I can get on Iowa State?
Iowa State, I can get you plus 199.
Okay, I'll do Iowa State plus 199, and I will also take Louisiana Moneyline.
Oh, okay, let me see where I can get that. That is plus 127.
All right.
All right. My 2 money lines are Oregon plus 142 and Stanford plus 230.
How did I lose money last week on the money lines? Didn't I go 1 and 2 with the one being plus 310?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I didn't update the record on the one. Hold on.
Oh, okay. All right. Makes me feel a little better. All right, my money lines. I'm still playing way behind here, and I am playing to win, not playing to just hang around. So let's go Notre Dame. Let's go. Where's another big one? Let's go Minnesota.
Let's see. Notre Dame, I get you 315. Minnesota,
okay.
I get you blaze it 420.
Let's go Tulsa.
Tulsa, I can get you Jesus 520.
Let's go Washington State.
Okay, so you're just firing Washington State. I could get you. Where are you at? There you are. Oh, this is a more reasonable 320. So you've got a 320, a 420, and a 520.
Okay. And what's Northwestern at?
Northwestern, I can get you. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Plus 800.
Come on, COVID. Give me Northwestern.
That needs to be the new drop. Barton saying, come on, COVID.
Never know.
Never. If Northwestern wins, it would be hilarious.
Yeah. If Northwestern wins, you probably win the Moneyline Sprinkles.
I had a bunch of people hit me up last week somehow. Somehow I found some believers in my Moneyline Sprinkles, and there are several people that parlayed my 3 Moneyline Sprinkles straight up. Now they were just putting like $5 down, but they sent me screenshots. So respect for the respect. We're going to get you back this week. Load it up again. Big money.
Loaded up with Notre Dame plus 315, Minnesota plus 420, Tulsa plus 520, Washington State plus 320, Northwestern plus 800. And when it hits, use that money to fund the party and invite Barton to it.
Buy some Barton A&M swag.
Yeah. He is Barton Simmons. You can follow him on Twitter at Barton Simmons. You can follow him at Tom Fernelli. You can follow him at Danny Cannell. You can follow me at Chip_Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Either.